Okay, welcome back everyone. So we are going to take a look at our assignment for week 1. Now I want to go over the prompt of the assignment before we get into Illustrator because a lot of the different things that I'm going to be demoing in Illustrator are going to relate right back to this assignment. So for week 1, we're going to be doing 3 different things. And the first 2 are relatively easy, and the third thing is going to be the more challenging part of the assignment. But it's also really fun. So with that being said, let's go over our prompt for this week. We're going to be creating a new document in Illustrator, and it's going to have 3 different artboards. So there are certain things that need to go on each artboard. There's certain specifications. Now, our document is going to be 8.5 by 11, so that's your standard letter size. Now, without fail, people will accidentally do this in pixels as opposed to inches. It's not the end of the world if it happens, and it can be fixed relatively easily, but please make sure that you are working in 8.5 by 11 inches, not 8.5 by 11 pixels. 8.5 by 11 pixels means your document is actually smaller than the letter 8 right here, which is at 16-point type. So just to have a visual of how we would not be able to create that. Artboard 1 is going to have a 2x2 drawing of a square and a 2x2 drawing of a circle. Then we're going to make 3 different stars. So a 5-pointed star, a 7-pointed star, and a 10-pointed star. We're going to make a triangle, and then we're going to give each of them a different fill color, but no outline. By outline, that means no border color on it. And one thing to note about Illustrator is it tends to default and put a border on your items. So I'm going to show you how to take that off. Then you can arrange the shapes into an interesting and fun design on the artboard. And that artboard will be done. Artboard number 2, you're going to make 2 or more rectangles. 2 or more ellipses. Ellipses are circles. It's called the ellipses tool in Illustrator because they want to be fancy, but ultimately we're making 2 or more circles. We're going to do 2 or more stars. Now you can make any number of points on the stars in artboard 2, and then 2 or more polygons. So a triangle is a polygon, but a polygon is technically any shape that has either 3 sides or 5 sides, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 sides, it would be a square or a rectangle. You're going to give each of them a different size, color, and type of stroke. So that means a different border on each of them. And then again, you can arrange them into a fun and interesting design. Now, artboard 3 is definitely the more complex of the 3 artboards. We're going to be tracing and redrawing one of these images. So you can pick any one of these images, and I already have them downloaded so you can see. You can do this cat, this cat, this cat, this chicken, or the bear, which I am going to download right now. And somehow he was missing in my original artwork. Now, when it comes to drawing these different animals, I have done a demo for each animal individually, and I will share those chunked up videos in the announcements with you so you can follow along. So if you don't, let's say that you really wanted to do one of the cats, but for today's live lecture, I'm doing the bear, you can just go find my video for the cat that I did or the chicken. Okay? So with that being said, make sure that you save your file with the correct naming convention. I always like to copy and paste the naming convention from the assignment and save it that way. So that way I'm not trying to remember how it's supposed to be named. And you want to submit your native Illustrator file for grading. Now, you can take a look at the benchmark examples. Just don't do the same exact thing as the benchmark examples, but this gives you an idea. Now, this person accidentally didn't take the border off, so that was noted. And then here is number 2, and again, this person forgot to do the different strokes, but you can see that they drew the bear. And this is A-level work. Is everything perfect? No, but they're learning, and that's A-level work for learning. You can look over the rubric, make sure that you have everything there, and then submit it up at the top with the Submit Assignment button. Now, if you are finding that you're scrolling and it's bouncing you back up to the top, you may be using Safari on your machine, which for some reason Safari and Canvas are not getting along right now. Please try to download either Chrome or Firefox on your machine, and that should alleviate that problem. I know a lot of you guys are having that problem. All right, so let's go over into Illustrator. So I'm going to close this out. This was just my demo from the discussion. And when you first open up Illustrator, you can go to, if it's on the Learn page, that's fine, or you can go to the Home tab, and all of the recent things that you have opened will show up down here. So you can see some of the work that I was grading for previous mods. Now, we need a letter, right? A letter size page. Well, right here is our letter. It's set up in points, but that's an easy enough fix. So you can either go to Create New, you can go File New, or you can click right here on Letter, and it's going to open it up. But this isn't going to give you 3 artboards. You can change that easy enough by clicking on Document Setup and clicking to edit your artboards and making a copy of these artboards by doing Edit. Whoops. Hold on. By holding down the Option key and dragging the artboard over. And then you have 3 artboards. So that's one way to do it. Or this is the easier way. Honestly, go to Create New. I just always like to show that there's multiple ways to do something. Go to Print and click on, see how it says 612 by 792, but it's on points? Change it to inches, because you're probably like me. Your brain doesn't really think in points, does it? Mine doesn't. Mine thinks in inches. And then you have your 8.5 by 11, and just change it to 3 artboards and click Create. And there it is. All set, all ready to go. Let's take a look at our different tools. Now, I like to work in Essentials Classic, and I know that Laura likes to work in Essentials Classic as well. Most of you, however, when you open up Illustrator for the first time, you will be in Essentials, and it will look like this, which means that it looks different than my screen. So if you go up to the top right, you can change it from Essentials to Essentials Classic. And the reason why I like to work in Essentials Classic is because it gives me more options. You know, I have more of my tools here that I need. I have more of my windows open over here that I need. So this is why I like to personally work this way. I also like to turn on my rulers just because I can drop a rule where I need it to be. So everything that you need to find is going to be found up here in the toolbar, okay? So you can go to View, scroll down to Rulers, and show the rulers. And that'll turn your rulers on right up here at the top and right over here on the left. If you need to open up let's say your swatches panel because you accidentally closed it, or your brushes, or your stroke, you can go to window. That's where all of your panels are located. And the Windows panel is arranged A through V. It's arranged alphabetically. So that's where you can find all of these different windows and open those up. Then we have our tools over here. So I'm going to drag my toolbar out, and I'm actually going to open it to, you can see that it can be one row or two rows by clicking on the two little arrows there. I like to use it as two rows. It's a little bit easier for you guys to see, I think, when I'm doing my demos. So you have your selection tool, which that literally does what it says it does. It selects things on the screen so you can move it around. You can select things by just clicking on it, or by clicking off to the side of it on the screen and drawing a marquee around the item, and it will select everything that's within that marquee. You also have a direct selection tool. This selects certain points on the object that you've drawn, and it lets you manipulate those individual points. We'll get a little bit more into that as I do more of the demo. You have a pen tool, you have a type tool, and then here are your rectangle tool, ellipses tool, and polygon tool. Those are going to be the tools that we're going to be focusing on today. So really for today, the only tools that we need to focus on are the selection tool. You might possibly need to use the direct selection tool, the shape tools, which are rectangle, ellipses, and polygon, and star. And then in artboard number 3, you may choose to use the eyedropper tool, and you'll know what I mean when we get there. So as I was saying, that everything in Illustrator seems to default having a border or a stroke, which you can find your colors in a couple of different areas. So right in the toolbar, this is your fill color, the big square that's actually filled in. The square that just looks like a border with nothing inside of it, that is the stroke color. Let's say that you accidentally fill in the stroke color. Ugh, but I wanted the fill to be green, not the stroke to be green. Well, there's a little swap arrow right here, which when you click on it, it'll swap it between the two. But now you're probably saying, yeah, but I didn't want a stroke on it. No problem. See this box, this white box with a red line through it? If you click right there, that will set that to none. So what you might want to do is you might want to, before you start your assignment, change your stroke to none. Just set it to none. And I'm just going to set this to black for right now for my fill color. Now you'll notice not only when I click on the screen can you see where I've clicked, but if I'm holding down Command, that'll show up down at the bottom. If I'm holding down Option, that's the Option key. So when you see that at the bottom, I'm holding the Option key. And this is Shift. When I hold this, I'm holding the Shift key down. Excuse me. Hold on one moment. And I'm back. I just need to blow my nose real quick. So hopefully you guys will be able to hear me a little bit better. All right, so in the space bar. So anytime that you hold down the space bar, it gives you the hand tool, and you can drag the whole screen all around the page. Now I want to zoom in and really focus on just artboard number 1. So that's what I'm going to do. So there's my zoom tool, and I always like to default and go back to my selection tool when I'm not drawing on anything, just so that way I don't accidentally put points all over the page. Let's take a look at our assignment and what we need to draw for artboard number 1. All right, I need to draw a 2x2 square and a 2x2 circle. So there's a couple of different ways that I can do this. Now I'm going to click on the square tool right here, which is the rectangle tool. And you'll notice in my properties panel, I can choose to click and drag and start to draw a square on the screen. And over here on my properties panel, it's going to tell me the size of that square. So it's 3.399 by 2.712. Okay, that's great, but I need a 2x2 square. It needs to be specific, right? So I'm just going to delete that square and I'm going to show you a trick. If you go to your rectangle tool and instead of clicking and dragging, if you just click and let go, it brings up this dialog box. Well, I can tell my rectangle tool exactly what size rectangle I want. So 2 width, 2 inches height, hit OK. I have my 2x2 square. It's a perfect 2x2 square. Now, oh man, my allergies are awful today. I apologize. I can go to my ellipses tool. And again, I can click and drag. And 3.2 by 3.283, well, that's not right. My other option for my ellipses tool, I can hold down Shift. See, it's showing the Shift key is being held down. And click and drag. All right, now I'm getting a nice perfect circle. Ooh, but it's still the wrong size. So I'm going to do my same little trick right there. Just click on the screen. 2 inches by 2 inches, hit enter. Perfect 2x2 circle. And I'll bring that up here. So what do we need next? Ooh, a 5-pointed star, a 7-pointed star, and a 10-pointed star. Not a problem. We go down to my star tool. And you're probably saying to yourself, okay, but there's only one star tool. How many points is my star gonna have? Well, let's click on the screen. Leave the radiuses how it's set. Change the number of points. So 5 points. There's my 5-pointed star. I'm going to click on the star tool again, click on the screen, change this to 7 points. Now I have my 7-pointed star. Excuse me. Star tool again, click on the screen, 10 points. Boom, my 10-pointed star. There we go. And next I need a triangle using the polygon tool. Again, not a problem. Let's go to our polygon tool. And we're going to do the same exact thing. Just click on the screen and change the number of sides to 3 for a triangle. And there is my triangle. Now, to color things in Illustrator, it's way easier than coloring things in Photoshop. What you'll want to do is make sure that you're on your swatches panel. And you can open up and you can see you have a lot of different swatches here, but they're kind of primary colors. So I want to show you where all the swatches are located. You can click on the 3 little lines here and open up your swatch libraries, and there's tons of different swatch libraries in here that you can open up. Skin tones, scientific, art history. Let's do some Baroque art swatches and open that up just for fun. Then with your with your selection tool, click on the item you want colored in and just click on the swatch and it'll color it in for you. And again, if you accidentally color in the stroke instead, like this, just swap it and make sure your strokes for each of these is set to none. So I clicked on the fill color and I can just go through and color these all in different colors. And then once you're done with that, you would just want to drag them around the screen a little bit and make an interesting composition. And I'm going to just bring this guy over here. And holding down my space bar, just drag myself right over to Artboard 2. All right, let's see what we need to put on Artboard 2. All right, 2 or more rectangles. Perfect. I'm going to go back to my rectangle tool. Now this time I don't want to click. I mean, I guess you could and just say 4 by 2 if you wanted, but you can also go to the tool and click and drag and make it any size that you want. So there are my 2 rectangles, 2 or more ellipses. So again, the ellipses are your circles, and you can choose to have a perfect circle by holding down Shift, or you can choose to have kind of an oval, not perfect circle by not holding down Shift. 2 or more stars. All right, let's go to the star tool. And again, I'm going to click on the screen this time, and maybe I want a 9-pointed star or an 8-pointed star, because I didn't do an 8-pointed star over on this artboard, and maybe something crazy like a 12-pointed star. I mean, watch out, 12-pointed star. We're getting crazy here. And then we need 2 or more polygons. All right, let's go to our polygon tool. So let's do an octagon, which is an 8-sided polygon. And then I'm going to go to the tool again. Well, I'm still on the tool. And click. And maybe do a 5-sided. Is that a pentagon? Yes, a pentagon. Perfect. All right, so for this one, I need them to each have a different size, a different color, and a different stroke. All right, well, my 2 rectangles definitely have a different size, but my stars are kind of the same size now. So I'm going to click on my star again with my selection tool, and I want to scale it proportionally. So anytime I want to scale something proportionally, I'm going to hold down the Shift key while I'm dragging from one of the 4 corners. If you drag from like this point or this point, whoops, or this point, or this point, it's not going to scale it proportionally. It's going to just drag it down, even if you're holding down Shift. I really wish that that was something that they would fix, but here we are, so I'm just letting you know. So I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to proportionally drag and scale this with my mouse. My circles are different sizes, so I don't really need to worry about that, but my 2 polygons are kind of the same size. So again, I'm going to hold down Shift and proportionally scale each of these. All right, next I need them to all be different colors. So I'm just going to go around and start picking some colors here. Well, I think that's the same. All of these reds kind of look the same. No problem. I can change it. With it selected, I can double click in the color bar, and maybe I want it to be a little bit lighter. So I'll just drag up on the color picker and hit OK, and that'll take care of that for me. And then the same thing with this one. Maybe I want it to be like a really bright orange. Hit OK. All right, perfect. But I need them to have different strokes. So I want to open up my stroke panel over here. And this might be one of those times where dragging the panel out is going to help you, and click to show all the options. So that way it doesn't keep closing up on you over here. So for each of these, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to default and just put a stroke on it, a stroke color. So remember how I said that you can click, if you're on the selection tool, you can draw that marquee. So I'm going to click outside over here, and I'm going to click and hold down with my mouse and drag around these options, and I'm going to select everything on this artboard. And then I'm going to click up here where the stroke is, and I'm just going to default and do 1-point stroke, maybe black so I can see it. And then I'm going to click off to the side somewhere so it deselects everything. And then I'm going to go shape by shape again. So for this one, I want to change the color of the stroke. So again, I'm going to make sure I'm on the stroke option, not the fill. And I can change it to brown. And maybe I want it to have some sort of a weird width profile, and you're probably going to have to make the stroke bigger so you can see. So I've got it up to 11-point type by changing the weight. And that looks pretty cool. I'm going to leave that one like that. Click on my next one. Again, double check, make sure you're on the stroke. And maybe change it to 5 first. Maybe for this one, instead of having a basic stroke, ooh, maybe I want it to be like charcoal. See how it looks like a charcoal drawing? So that looks pretty cool. For this one, I'm going to change it to the gold color. And again, I'm going to change it to maybe 4-point. And maybe I want it to have a dashed line like a coupon. So over in the stroke panel, I'm going to change it to a dashed line. And kind of just leave it there like that. That looks good. Next one, I'm going to change this one to red. A little bit bolder. And maybe for this one, I want to have an arrowhead. Kind of weird, but it'll look kind of cool, I think. See, so it looks like an arrow going around. And you can change, you know, maybe it's 2 arrows and they meet up together. Now for this one, let's see. Change it to green. Again, make it a little bit bolder. I'm going to change it to width profile 4 and also charcoal. That looks pretty cool. And after each one, remember to click off so you can click on the next one. This one, let's do like this dark green. Really bold. And something like this, maybe. Ooh, or this. Ooh, whoa, 14 would, that's kind of crazy. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I like that. Ooh, that's fun. And leave it like that. This one, we'll go with orangish red. And we'll change it to this border. And then for the last one, let's do a tan. And that's not really fun. I mean, it did stuff, but all right, there we go. That one. The denim works a little bit better on this one. Yes, all of the videos are going to be shared in the announcements, the little chunking videos, and the live sessions will be shared in the live session tab. So please refer back to the announcements, which shows where everything is. As long as it is, I have to download the videos and then upload them to YouTube. So hopefully it will be done by today. Yes. All right, so here we go. We've got Artboard 1 and Artboard 2 done. Let's make sure we save our file. So again, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to File, Save As. And you want to make sure that everything is in a logical place that you can find it. So I always like to make a folder for each mod. So we're in mod 12. And you'll see that I have DES 103 in there. And then I also have weeks. So I'm going to click on week 1. And the assignment. Oops. Oh, come on. Copy. Really? Come on. copy, paste. That got weird. I think I need to restart. I'm hitting the point of no return. And you can name it with your name. And save it. Make sure the format right here in the drop-down says Adobe Illustrator AI. And hit save. And then hit OK. And that will be saved. Oh, and save often, because sometimes Illustrator will quit on you, like it just did on me. So hopefully, please recover. All right, there it is. I lucked out, but sometimes, save it again. Let's see, week 1, yes. My old file in there, save. Okay, all right, phew, whew. So sometimes that will happen. So you got to be careful and make sure that you save everything. All right, I am going to end this video and I am going to do one more. Yeah, we know it. Yes. I'm just going to say, okay, we're already in there. Thanks, Adobe. Okay. I'm going to do one more chunked video for artboard number 3. So I'm going to end this video. So for those of you watching at home, please go to the next video.